What's good with YouTube? You already know Big Flacco, man, from a convict's perspective. And we about to get straight to it, man, as I got a special guest, man. A former Norteno gang member from Salinas, Monterey County, also known as the Mecca, of where basically the strong foundation of a lot of canales, a lot of bros, a lot of Norteños over the years, man. And with a recent announcement, man, that was done on Renegade Media, where he discusses that there was a made member from the Mexican Mafia from Salinas. I thought, well, let's tap into someone out there in Salas, man, and have a little discussion about what could happen, what may happen, and where we feel this is today. So you're going to see there's a little bit of a difference of opinion on what happens next. This is a pretty good video, man. We touch on a whole lot of different points. Things are changing in the system, and you never know where it's going to take the future of these organizations, these groups, and these movements. Enjoy.
Let's get it.
Okay, so on this topic right here, man, we're going to discuss something, man. Renegade Media dropped a video. I've known about this for about 2 months, right? Someone tapped into me, and that they made an actual MA member from my, what's that Sureño hood? Posada?
La Posada.
La Posada.
Yeah, they got.
There's an undercover MA sleeper, right, from that hood that was just made not that long ago, right?
Right.
Now, Renegade Media put a video out about it. I heard about it. So if I heard about it about 2 months ago, I'm sure other people heard about it. What do you think that's going to mean for the streets right now? I mean, there's never been one. The last MA member that was out there in Salinas was a dude that was, some say he was associate, some say he was a member, named Knuckles Moreno, right? Now, Knuckles Moreno's brother was was actually an NF member. They both got killed by the NF. It's a kind of a trippy story. But that was the last of anyone affiliated strongly with the MA. Now, I get it. They've been going to prison like the last 15, 20 years. The upstate Sureños are not like how they used to be, like, when I was growing up. They're homegrown now. What do you think that means for the streets now, and being in a place like Salinas? What does that mean now? That if they hear that there's an MA member now in Salinas, what do you think is going to happen?
It's honestly nothing, bro. Nothing,
Yep.
because now it's not about they have a peace treaty, right? So I even heard of homies, rapper homies collabing with Sureño homies and actual businesses, bro. Like homies
Hmm.
going to down south doing business, like dope or whatever the case might be, doing transactions with one another. And so if they have this policy in prison, it takes effect out in the streets as well. And so having an M member, they're not gonna be like, oh, go get rid of him. Like, maybe he has plugs. Maybe we could get connected with him. Like it's not about, oh, get him out. It's not like how it used to be back in the days. Back in the days, they if you hear out here in Salinas, hey, there's an M member, they'll send a squad over there, bro. They'll kick that door down and they'll murder him. You get what I'm saying? And nowadays, that's guaranteed for sure. It's not happening. Like they're gonna let him walk. Like
I'm not gonna say.
it
I'm
ain't
not gonna
popular.
say. I'm not gonna say guaranteed on that part because there's some still dudes out there that are loyal to the Fed, so it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, the likelihood as opposed to 10 years ago, is very unlikely. But I know certain people are starting to fucking be shocked, and they're starting to think that look that there's been five. There's been a couple. One in Modesto that's been made. A couple in San Jose. One in San Francisco. These are like I'm not gonna put out their names because that's just not who I'm gonna be. But
Yeah,
I find it kind of interesting that since the end of all hostilities, there's been businesses that have been opened up, like you said, like you talked about, right? You got people going down south in caravans doing business with people from down south. That's 100% facts. You've had certain individuals working with NF members out in the streets. You've had MA members doing business transactions with NF members. So I'm just wondering what the overall agenda is. Is this a plot later on that could be something different? Because if you really look at it from an outsider now, right? Which I don't care really what happens. I just hope these communities maintain to be safe, right? It almost looks like the MA is making a fucking move up north. From an outsider, that's how I'm looking at it. Regardless of what relationships they have, you would think that there would still have to be a little bit of boundaries to eliminate any type of violence. Because if they're going to let people move up north and establish themselves within standings, you can't control that because that's a Sureño neighborhood.
right.
But I still think that that's a big threat to all the Norteño hoods out there, having someone with an agenda out there like that. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think that they're going to act, but It's just something I never thought would ever happen. You know,
Yeah.
you would think they would be out there, but you think there would be an effort to take them out because I know when we used to hear about that, we hear rumors. In the 2000s that there was a, we used to refer to them as Moskows, right? No disrespect to anybody out there, but we used to call them Moskows because we said that they're going to drop like flies. So if we heard anything about one being out there, we were trying to fucking find out where they were at to take them out. We actually had a canal one time, right? Actually go into a Sureño neighborhood and portray himself to be an MA member one time. You know what I'm saying? That was the Canal Huicho from Sajo. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting because some people were talking about it that it could lead to fucking war, and I was wondering what your opinion is. You say no,
No.
so I mean, you probably have your ears closer to the streets. So I'll let you talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so I personally, from my point of view, my understanding, and keep in mind, like, I still communicate with active individuals, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we still keep bases, right? Then I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, they tell me every little detail, everything, right? But as far as like MM member being out here, and this is the first time that I hear about it. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? This is the first time that I hear from you, and so I don't think so, due to the fact that there's already business going on with these folks, right? The MA and the NF, they're involved with one another, and the only way that I can see something in happening is if this individual comes out here with an agenda and tries to push a hard line on the establishment, or like threat their establishment and go against them, and like try to get rid of them, or like try to take over certain territories. Then obviously the homies are gonna push back. But just if he comes out here and he's minding his own business, he's going about it and staying in his lane with his people, I believe nothing's gonna happen to him, right? And
What if the feds take control though, which is likely to happen maybe in the next year or so?
if the if the
Because you know how
Fed
Skip, you know how Skip feels about it.
if the feds take control, bro, that's a different story, right? Because if he takes control, and if he takes control of Salinas in the Monterey County area, it's gonna be popping off, bro. It's gonna be it's gonna be a high murder rate, because this individual has a different agenda, and he hates those people. He hates the Emmy. He hates the Sureños, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that individual does not play, and like, so he
Mm.
he has his personal agenda, and so there's powers, that at B, and so he has control of certain jurisdictions, and obviously, the state too, they have their jurisdictions and they have control of certain things. And for that to happen, it's like, I don't see it happening, him taking control over the whole thing, because there's still other people, you get what I'm saying? And so I just don't know. And a lot of NF members, they have a lot going on right now, and they don't
Yeah.
want to lose all that up. They don't want to lose all that money. They don't want to get slammed down again, because that's majority of the thing why all this peace treaty came to in frustration, right? Because they didn't want to keep going back and be getting slammed down in the hole. And now, if any violence or riots or removals keep happening, now what's gonna happen? They're gonna take them all down and slam them back down for years, how they were
Hmm.
before. So that's the reason why all that came into the plate, right? And so they don't want that. They don't want to lose out on all that, right? And not
Yeah.
only that, they got all these indictments. I don't know if you heard about it, like in 2020, like all these 30 47 SNF members that got indicted, that they got from
I'm the
all the
one that I'm the
prisons.
one that broke this. I'm the one that broke the story on that, bro. We got
Yeah,
it before we got it before the media, man. And Chuco just took a deal for 10 years, and Chuco was a general in the state, but Coneo and DC haven't took no deals. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And like I have my own opinion what I think is going to happen. I think that Chuco's going to go there with the agenda and be in contact with the old leadership, and that something's going to be worked out, and they're going to get on the same page. That's what I think is going to happen. Because never do you see people take a deal before the hierarchy. Because back in Operation Black Widow, which I know a lot about because I was not a part of it, but fucking my name was mentioned, on a few incidents back then. Um, they didn't take deals to the end. People were supposed to rock all the way through until they got the deals. The reason why they all took life sentences was to get people like Bird out, Happy out, Stork out, all these individuals, Spider, because they had all held their mug, and so that's why they fucking pled guilty. So with Chuka pleading guilty and going to be going to the feds probably within 30 days, it's going to get interesting to see what happens, man. And that's why I think the feds are going to eventually take control because no matter what, history repeats itself with these
Yeah.
organizations, right? And it's not like it was 20, 30 years ago where indictments happened every like 8, 10, 9 years. After Operation Valley, was it Valley Star, which was part of Salinas, right? Which had all the regiments indicted, right? Except for San Jose. We've had indictments every fucking year, at least one or two a year. Some in San Jose, some in Salinas, some in Tulare County, some in Modesto, Sacramento, everywhere they're getting indicted. The feds have figured out ways to bring RICO cases, right? So who's ever left over in the fold and leadership, they're going to be indicted in 5 or 10 years again too.
Yeah, for sure.
So in the feds, those guys in the feds, they have control of the feds. Trust me on that. They got a solid fucking core, and most of those dudes that are out there are from Salinas that are holding leadership positions. So that's why my opinion is when they get out there, what I'm saying, Chuco and whatever, however they deal with DC and Cornell, whether they get hit or not, I still think that fucking they're going to go back, and at the end of hostilities is eventually